right, time right now, 10:04 on a Monday morning. How's this for Monday motivation? A New York Times review can make or break a restaurant overnight. For many chefs, it represents the ultimate validation, a moment transforming a small neighborhood restaurant spot into a culinary destination. The praise can lead to weeks of sold-out reservations, national recognition, name recognition, career-defining momentum. He doesn't need it, though. He is Callan Buckles, chef of Rada. So all over the buttons here. Chef, thank you for coming in here this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Because you worked late last night, didn't you?
Yeah, we're not too late. We close around 10 p.m. So.
Oh, 10 p.m. Okay, because people want their Sunday dinner, kind of quickly.
Right.
Right? But, living in the restaurateur world, and how did you first learn about this recognition? What was your immediate reaction?
Yeah, so we were reached out to us a little bit ago by the New York Times for some photos, but obviously they're very clandestine in what it was for.
Nice.
But I have a friend in New York City who owns a restaurant called Smithereens, and his name is Nicholas Tamburo, and he actually sent me the link and said, "Oh my gosh, congratulations!" At late on, I believe it was September the 8th in the evening. I was sitting at home. And he knew because his restaurant was actually right above ours on that list. We worked together for many, many years. So that's how I first found out about it. It was really a surprise and a shock to me. I did not expect something like that coming.
Fantastic. So were you just like, what are you talking about? Congratulations.
Well, once he sent the link, I almost immediately knew what was going on, but I just took me a second to really believe it and let it sink in.
Fantastic. Yeah. You've worked at some of New York's most respected restaurants. Speaking of, the Big Apple, Claude, the Four Horsemen. How did those experiences shape what you wanted here at Rada? And if you would, describe the cuisine at Rada, because I saw pictures and it looks very fancy and delicious.
Yeah. I mean, Claude and Four Horsemen were both definitely some formative times for me. The Four Horsemen, I actually left a sous chef management role to kind of step back into being a line cook and work with Chef Nick Curtola. It's a very small, tight kitchen with a very focused menu. And he has a deep respect for, sourcing the best of an ingredient and really kind of letting that thing be the star. And it's very similar to how they do things at Claude. Both of those restaurants kind of have dishes that are not too dressed up, and they really just kind of let the core item be the best thing it can be. One of the most popular things at Claude on the menu is their chicken, which is a roast chicken with some jus on top, very similar to the one we actually were recently serving. Whenever we are using ingredients at the restaurant, we're using the highest quality we can find. So all of our vinegars are a specific brand that comes from Spain. It's really high quality. A lot of restaurants you see kind of like the big gallon jug of vinegars that can be very generic.
Right.
And we don't really kind of like use those kinds of things. We try to focus on the highest quality we can find.
Down to the vinegar. This is this the anchovy? The picture's right there to your...
Oh, yes. So that is our Gilda. It's a Basque country pincho. There's a place I used to go in New York called El Pinguino, and I would sit there and drink martinis and eat Gildas whenever I could. So I had to bring that with me to the menu here.
Oh, fantastic. Why Charlotte?
So my partner, Emily, her family all live here. They ran a restaurant in Ballantyne called OG for many years.
Oh, okay.
And I met her living in New York, and we got pregnant and decided to be closer to her family that we're all based here. So we actually live a block away from her mother and her sister, niece, and nephew, and her brother's 5 minutes down the road.
That works out, and that's why you don't work so late now on a Sunday night as a chef. Okay, so I'm reading also some of the review highlights, some of the signature dishes, and looking at this picture that's making my mouth water. And I'm also reading about the ricotta fritters. I mean, oh my gosh, my mouth is beginning to water. So do you have, and I like this, that Rada evokes this New York feel, but it sounds European cuisine as well. A lot of that influence from there.
For sure. A lot of the restaurants I've worked in have kind of like always taken a New York spin on a lot of classic European dishes. This steak, for instance, is a steak au poivre, very classic French sauce. But we get that beef right next door from a butcher shop called the Chop Shop. And they're based out of Asheville. They have a butcher shop there, a butcher shop here in Charlotte. They own their own ranches. They own their own processing facility. It's a really awesome local business that we like to support. And they give us really high quality beef. And we just take the time and care to love it with a au poivre sauce that we put a lot of effort into making just as well as we can.
I mean, we hear this concept of local to table, people getting the best of the best, and that is, makes such a difference. But now you are like upper echelon of the local to table, the farm to table, this idea of just getting and sourcing the best seasonal ingredients. What is it that made this Rada stand out?
I personally can't speak to the intangibles, but I really feel like it's kind of those really focused movements. There can be a casual approach, which I really appreciate, and I learned a lot of that at Claude, because you can come to a restaurant where somebody's got a button-up shirt and a tie, and they're like, "Good evening, I'm so-and-so, I'll be your server tonight." But you can also walk up and make people feel comfortable.
Right.
And be like, "Hey guys, what's up? My name's Callan, I'll take care of you tonight." And you can have that comfortable approach, but as long as you're approaching it with the same focus and intensity as those really fine dining restaurants, it's really going to make that difference. When somebody realizes that you're picking up the fork a certain way and carrying it away in a certain way, and you're not just kind of like stacking things, and like if you are using that focus just in everything that you do, even if it's casual, it feels fine.
Leveled up.
Yeah, leveled up.
The 9 European wines. Talk to me about this, as I love a good glass of wine.
I am personally undereducated in the wine department.
Okay.
I've worked at a lot of places and worked with a lot of people who are very, very educated and do that really well. And we have a really awesome guy named Jared Swick who develops our wine menu, and he has focused on making those wines exactly what they should be to go with our food.
All right, so now let's talk about, since this has made it to the New York Times list, what has the response been like? Because I've been to, and I went to, Italy for a summer vacation. I went to a restaurant, just a casual pizza place, and they were excited because they made it on the New York Times list, years ago. Like, that's their claim to fame. And
Right.
they are always crowded at this casual spot there in Rome. So what is the response like at Rada now?
Yeah, it's really been an exciting week for sure. Fridays and Saturdays are, at most restaurants, they're the busiest nights of the week. But now we're kind of starting to see that level of business bleed over into those Sunday nights, those Mondays, those Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. They're picking up quite a bit, and we're very grateful. Both to the New York Times for putting this spotlight on us, but also to the city of Charlotte for really supporting this business.
Fantastic. So we're like reading, the reporters for the New York Times, like a whole team of them, over a dozen, flew all over the country, 76 flights, 33 states, all, hundreds of meals. And, now you're listed with the best of the best. So what do you do now? What does the future look like for Rada?
The future for us is really going to be on definitely making sure we're not resting on our laurels, right? We want to always be improving every single day, but we're just trying to bring the same attention that we always have, and just use that to build upon daily, and continue just to do exactly what we've been doing that gets this recognition,
Yeah. It's so fantastic. For food lovers who want to experience Rada, I would imagine that it is quite busy, but what do you advise people if they want to check you out?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to keep a limited amount of space for walk-ins when when the weather's nice. The patio is usually open because we don't like to make reservations there, just in case you never know what's happening. But definitely our reservations go live 2 weeks out.
Okay.
And so Resi is the best place to be for that.
Resi, do it. All right, 2 weeks out. Are you working on new items? You're going to, continue perfecting what's already on the menu and give the people a chance to check things out.
Yeah. Well, I kind of I have a brain that works in a very specific way, and I picked a lot of this up from my friend Nick Tamburo, who has that restaurant Smithereens I referenced before, where I kind of get bored of things quickly. So even if I really love a dish, sometimes I'm always thinking about the next thing. And when I set my heart on doing something, I usually do it for as long as I feel good, and then if there's something interesting else, I move on to that next thing.
Okay.
So there's never a promise that things are going to be exactly the same. Even the steak au poivre, we just changed that sauce to be steak Diane.
Oh, is that right? All right. So steak Diane it is these days. If you go over to Rada, Chef Callan Buckles, thanks again for coming in. Congratulations, really. That's such a feat. I mean, I've heard other restaurants that have done that, and really, like I said earlier, the trajectory of said restaurant goes through the roof. So enjoy. Thank you for representing Charlotte, and glad that Emily was able to, get you and the baby here close to family.
Yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate your time. Congratulations again. Rada in Charlotte, New York Times, one of America's best restaurants to try out. Let's take a quick break here on Live Impact News on WCNC+.